Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to another pre-market watch list here today. So thank you guys once again for tuning in. Today is probably going to be a little bit of an interesting day. All right, got quite a few stocks on the watch list. As you can see by the headline of the video, we got quite a few things to look over here. So we're going to talk about Netflix. We're going to talk about a penny stock, CODA. We're going to talk about IQ, Bank of America, JNUG, and Tesla. All right. So again, quite a few things to watch for. So hopefully today turns out to be a good day. Money Monday, hopefully. So hopefully it's Money Monday, right? I got some bills I need to pay. I need some money in my pocket. All right. So anywho, other than that, so we're not going to talk about on yesterday's weekend watch list. We're not going to focus on JBHT, and we're not going to focus on BlackRock, BLK. It doesn't appear that JB Hunt or BlackRock Financial doesn't appear that either one of those picked up in good enough volume to trade their earnings. I don't believe. Let me just double check. Yeah, BLK. Oh, come on, BLK. Yeah, you know, they're moving a bit, but again, there's not enough volume there to really trade it. So we're not going to focus on BlackRock and we're not going to focus on JBHT. All right, let me get to sharing the screen and we'll go over all this stuff. That is the one right there. Share that screen. All right, guys. So first stock I want to talk about. We'll go right to Bank of America, BAC. So BAC, right? So I was thinking it was possible we were going to have some bad earnings. So it does appear that all in all, Bank of America had a pretty good earnings report. Just because, I mean, obviously you can see price action there. Clearly resembles a good earnings. So they did have an estimate that they were going to be down 11% on earnings. Well, come to find, they actually had 37% growth. 5.2% growth on their revenue. So they did actually have a revenue beat. Their guidance, there's nothing on their guidance. Long story short, they did beat their revenue by about 5%. So they were estimated to have a negative revenue growth by 11%. They ended up beating that by 5%. So all in all, pretty good earnings here. As you can see, the stock is kind of gapping up. There's a lot more information coming in there below. If you check the news headline there on Bank of America, you'll see there's quite a few other little headlines you can read there on their earnings report. Now, it doesn't really surprise me that they had a revenue beat. In my opinion, they should. Considering throughout the year of 2018, we're going to have 4 different interest rate hikes. So interest rates are going to be going up. Thus, the banks should be making more money because they are now getting paid a higher return on all of their loans that they give out. So it would make sense for the banks to be making more money over this next coming year. So I would anticipate that over the course of the year, we should see majority of all banks having better financial reports and better earnings due to the interest rates going up. So anywho, as you can see, Bank of America is grinding higher here this morning. What we can do is we can map off a trend line here to trade it. As you can see, it's kind of trending up. And we kind of have this like flat top. Our most recent pre-market resistance, right about 28.98. Now, I do anticipate that the price action of Bank of America is going to go up. Now, I may or may not trade it. We'll see. What I want you to map off here is more specifically this price point of map off a resistance line on Bank of America right at about $29. $29 is a strong resistance for Bank of America. All right, if you go to a 5-day chart, you'll see that it's hitting that price point multiple times and it's consolidated around that area multiple times. So I would definitely consider watching Bank of America up towards that $29 price point, where you could essentially look to open a short. And if it does if Bank of America steadily grinds back up to the $29 area, we could get a nice breakout over 29 for a quick little run, or maybe even a scalp play. So Bank of America, it doesn't look bad. You can clearly tell there is some volatility because it's going back and forth. So there is a little bit of a rally taking place. So do keep an eye on Bank of America today. It may or may not be my #1 trade for the day. Based on what I'm seeing elsewhere, it may or may not be kind of my go-to trade. All right. Now I will talk about Tesla. So Tesla, as you can see, it's gapping down from 317 all the way to 310. If you look at this chart, I do have a line mapped off at 310. You can see that red dotted line. If we zoom out, we can go to a 20-day chart. I'm just going to do it on a 20-day chart. You can see here I have this, actually we have to go to a 180-day chart. You can see I have this red line, dotted line mapped off at this $310 price point. 310 was a previous resistance that now acted up as a support. And right now, Tesla has been creeping very slowly down to this 310 level. You can see it's kind of faded all the way down back towards the $310 price point where it bounced on Friday's trading. And now it's testing it once again. So currently, Tesla is in fact downtrending from the high at 330 and down. It is currently downtrending. So right now we are actually into a downtrend where we're pushing on the 310 level. If $310 breaks, we could see a panic sell. Okay. There are a lot of support buyers that bought on 310 from the big drop on Tesla, from Tesla dropping from 360s down to the 296 and hovering at the 310. There are a lot of dip buyers and support buyers coming in on Tesla around this $310 price point. As you can see, it bounced previously here, and it's trying to do it now. If 310 gives up, what's going to happen is a lot of stop losses will probably be hit, and a lot of people will start panic selling, thinking that it's not the bottom or 310 is not a good enough support, in which we could get a panic sell below $310. Okay. And if it does panic sell all the way below $310, you could easily see it drop from 310 down to a price point of 300. 300 would be a respectable area considering it's bounced there a couple times. You can see the bounce there, bounce there, bounce there, consolidation. So 300 would be the next price point I personally think we would have, or we would see Tesla kind of get to and then start bouncing at. Now, if you look at the news, there is some news here this morning that Elon Musk calls Thailand cave rescue diver, pedo Twitter, blah, 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 an outburst. So there is some news this morning that Elon's been tweeting on Twitter. So who knows? There's quite a bit of news here in the morning, so you could take a second to read some of the PR reports here. All right. Good morning to you as well. So again, to clear it up, Tesla, if it breaks this $310 price point today, I would look to get short on Tesla with a move down to 300. If it in fact holds support here at 300, we'll probably see a move back to the upside where we could see it kind of pop up most likely closer to 315, right? 314, 315 in that area. All right. Next one on the list I will talk about is CODA. So CODA is a penny stock that went from $4 to a high of $9.50 this morning. And then it pulled back and went through a dip buy. It put in a lower high, and it is now starting to fail and start coming down. So ideally, when you see a stock go like this, it's always going to pull back. It's the pullback and what comes after that usually determines the next outcome. So as you can see here, this is what we wanted to see on CODA, was this pop up, pull back like this, and then we wanted to see that start to break to the upside. All right. So again, this is what we wanted to see happen, was that. That right there would have been a, ABCD pattern, or a nice ascending bullish pattern. That's not what we got. We ended up getting a failed pattern where we popped up, pulled back, set in a lower high, and broke down the previous trend line. So considering we have broke down this trend line, we're now into a bearish move where we should start expecting the stock to drop even more, probably lower down to a price of $6.60. The reason I would expect that we might start seeing a price point of $6.60 here is because 660 or 656 is the previous 52-week high on the stock CODA. All right. This is a big, big move. All right. Imagine if you were long this stock, you woke up today and you were up you were up 150%. So imagine if you woke up this morning, you're up 150% of your position. I would probably look to sell myself personally. Now, I'm, a little bit more experienced and this and that, but I would look to sell on it today, at least to lock in some profits. So I think personally, we're going to see a little bit of a struggle or a little bit of a fight on CODA initially. I don't think we're just going to dump right out of the gates. I think it's going to be a back and forth battle. So what you'd want to do is you'd want to take your trend line from 948 and down like that. And your entry, if you wanted to take a long on CODA, is going to be when and if the price action can go like this and break over the trend line, okay? That would be the ideal entry, would be right there over the break on that trend line. Because if it breaks that trend line to the upside, that would then tell us at that current moment, the stock is no longer trying to downtrend and it's trying to reverse and go on an uptick or an uptrend. All right. So be careful. The more that CODA drops to this side right now actually sets it up better for a long, because the more it goes down, 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 less people would look to short it down here towards the 660. But the higher it moves pre-market, the more people that are interested in short, right? And if it moves down towards like this, more people would be interested in long, okay? So do note that CODA is a very risky stock. It has a float of about 1 million shares or less. So that means if it picks up today and there's a lot of people trading the stock CODA, that means the float can very easily rotate hands, or you're going to have a float rotation, or the float is rotating or shifting throughout traders. So if you're not familiar with that, a short description basically means if the float is that low and it starts to trade high volume, that means that at any given point, the float will do a full rotation, meaning it is passed through multiple traders, okay? It basically means that if there were 5 of us sitting in a circle, right? There's 5 of us sitting in a circle. It would not take very long to pass a football in a circle, okay? Because there's only one football and there's only 5 of us. So to pass that football around in the circle would be pretty easy. But if you had 20,000 footballs available and there's only 5 of us, it would take a long time to pass those 20 footballs in a circle, those 20,000 footballs in a circle. But if there's only one, it won't take very long. That's the same idea as float rotation. If there's a low float and a lot of heavy volume, that means that float is going to probably change multiple different hands throughout the day, which makes a stock extremely volatile, or it can be. All right. So CODA, end of this, just watch it. This could very easily set up for a good long if it starts breaking over this trend line and holding above it. Okay. Next one on the list is IQ. So IQ is a stock that's been, it's always heavily traded. It always sees a lot of volume. So this is going to be a stock that I'm paying very close attention to today. So you can see on Friday's trading, we popped up to a high of like 36, and then we pulled back really hard. Now today, it's kind of the same idea. I think that this $35 price point is going to hold up as resistance, and we're going to see another short. So I'll be watching IQ short today off of the $35 level. If IQ cannot break over 35 and hold, then I'm going to look to short, because I believe we're going to see something like this. Pops to 35 and then it drops. Okay, so going to be watching IQ short off the $35 price point level. Okay, so it might be 2 million. Okay, it might be 2 million or 1 million. Regardless, if it's 1 million, 2 million, it's still a very low float. So it's going to be right around. It's very possible there's a float rotation on. Interesting. So with that being said, IQ going to be watching that short around the $35 price point. And personally, I think if it does go short, my first initial price target or profit taking area to look for would probably be around from 35. It would be at 35.50. If you get short at 35, first profit area would be 35.50. After 35.50, it would be 34. Or sorry, it'd be 34.50, then 34. Okay. All right, next one on the list, Netflix. And then we got JNUG to go over. So Netflix is interesting. I have absolutely no clue how this is going to trade today. All right. Netflix does have their earnings coming out today in after hours trading. So again, yesterday's video, there was a few kind of scenarios that I thought would play out. Either we'd see a really big consolidation day on Netflix because people are not sure which way they want the stock to go based on the idea that earnings are after hours. Or what we're going to see is Netflix have a massive sell-off today where it just gets sold off all the way down to some prices of $380 or even possibly $372. So I think either we have a double top pattern that is going to perform and actually cause Netflix to dump, and then later it might get bought up, or we're just going to have a big green day because everybody's anticipating good earnings. So I think Netflix is going to be a major player today just based on the action you're seeing pre-market. If you just look at Netflix pre-market, it has a lot of movement. I mean, it popped up, it slammed down, it squeezed up, it's back down. So it's already seeing a very active day before market open, right? So this could lead to a very active trading day on Netflix, okay? Exactly. So CODA has an outstanding shares is 10 million, but the only float tradable is very low on CODA. All right. So Netflix is gapping to 320. I don't think Netflix is going to gap all the way to 320, but yeah, not going to happen. No way. So Netflix going to be watching Netflix today. If I had to pick a decision, it would probably be watching Netflix short below the pre-market low, and then I'd watch it high above 398. Okay, watch it for a long over 398 and short below the 394 price point. Now, the last one I'm going to talk about here today is JNUG. So the reason the reason I'm mentioning JNUG, it's not that I usually mention it, but just based on the chart and the pattern here, JNUG should be approaching support here very soon around the $13 price point. So not that it's going to be a good buy today, but I think in the coming days, you're going to see JNUG start reversing off the $13 price point, in which it would be good for a long position or a swing trade up to a price point of about $14.60, then to $15. Okay. All right, so again, going to be watching Netflix, or not Netflix, sorry, JNUG to the long side here, either today, tomorrow, or in the coming days for a bounce off of that $13 price point. And that will cover all of the, again, cover all the stocks on my watch list here today. All right, so there you have it, guys. Those are all the stocks that I'll be watching. So hopefully that helps you for Mr. Pana or Mrs. Pana or Miss Pana. What do you do if you already own Netflix? I have no idea because I don't know if you're profitable on your trade. I don't know how long you've been holding it. I don't know how many shares you have. I don't know if you anticipate Netflix going to 500 or if you think Netflix is going to start crashing and burning. You know, it's all based on your long-term investing. Are you shorting the stock? Are you, do you own the stock short? Do you own it long? So a lot to go into it. There's not too much more. I mean, I have no idea what you should do with that because I don't know if the earnings are for sure going to be good. If the earnings are good, you should expect that it's going to dramatically increase the price of Netflix because that's just normally what happens. So Razul, I basically go just simply on the chart patterns because I don't follow JNUG and JDST and things like that heavily. But I'm going to start. I am going to actively start, following JNUG and JDST a little more. And when I start getting more into it, I'm going to start paying attention to the actual gold and a lot of the commodity-based information that really drives the price of them. Because you can go off the technicals, right? You can trade the technicals on JNUG and JDST and the inverse relationship there. But even that isn't 100% the correct way to do it because these ETFs are based off of other information, just not themselves, Yeah, I would say IQ over 35 could be a long, then watch it for a pullback at 35.50 and 36. Yeah, so Diego, I will get that fixed here later today on I'll get the TradingView link fixed here a little later today. You can run multiple different screens of Thinkorswim. Yep. So like I'll show you. Well, yeah, you could do that. Yep. How does one show future dates on the chart, including earnings reports? So if I'm honestly not too sure because I don't do that. I just kind of look. I just use earningswhisper.com. If you use earningswhisper.com, it's pretty good. So I would honestly do that. Vency is one of our moderators. He actually is from Europe. He's been trading with us since day one of Boiler Room Trading. So for the past year, we've been open for about a year since Boiler Room Trading opened. He's been a moderator on the channel, and he's had picked up tremendously in his trading knowledge. So he helps out in our free section and creates watch lists. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, if you're going long term on Netflix, then you might as well just hold it. Yeah, I mean that's just basically it. With that being said, that's all I have for you guys today. So again, if any of you guys want to join into our private group where we go live all day long answering questions and trading stocks live, you can do that by joining or clicking the first link in the description of the video. And then also make sure to follow any of the other links that you feel would be important to your trading career. We have a chat room where we post watch lists, things like that. And then we have a Facebook group. So ideally, if you're new here, just take a look in the below because that can answer a lot of your guys' questions as well. Anywho, so I will see you guys all tomorrow morning for another pre-market watch list. All right, and I'll probably have a recap on the trading day here today as well. Other than that, everybody have a good day, and I will see you guys all tomorrow morning.